Phones are not going anywhere in 2026. If anything, we're using them now more than ever for work, communication, learning, literally everything. And I'm not here to tell you to get rid of your phone or go live off the grid. What I am going to do is show you how to use it in a way that gives you the benefits of technology without wrecking your hormones, your focus, and your nervous system in the process. Because right now, what most people are doing are they wake up, they immediately grab their phone, they start scrolling, they scroll on TikTok all night until they fall asleep, and they sit on their phone during every meal. It is quietly putting their body into a constant state of stress. So, I'm going to give you 3 rules that I use personally and use for my clients that make a huge, huge difference. They are very simple, but if you actually follow them, they will change how you feel on a daily basis. Little disclaimer here, yes, I am a physician assistant, but this video is for educational purposes only, should not be taken as medical advice. Please always consult with your healthcare provider before you make any changes with your health supplements or medications. So here are the 3 rules. No screens the first hour of the day, no screens the last hour of the day, and no screens during meals. And I want to explain why each one of these really matter, because once you understand what your phone is actually doing to your body, it becomes a lot easier to follow through with these rules. So let's start with the morning one. Most people wake up and they immediately check their phone. Text, emails, Instagram, news, your brain goes from 0 to 100 literally within seconds. And what that does physiologically is spike your cortisol immediately. Now, cortisol in the morning, definitely not a bad thing. You're supposed to wake up and have a natural rise of cortisol when you first get up. And that is what helps you feel alert and awake in the morning. But when you immediately introduce stimulation, so whether it's notifications, messages, your email, comparison, information overload, you are taking that natural rise and turning it into a stress response. It's like your body is waking up gently and then you just dump a bucket of ice water on it. I see this all the time in high performing women. They wake up, they're already feeling behind. They are anxious, they are already in go mode, and they don't even realize it started in the first 5 minutes of their day. I had a client once who told me that she would wake up and she would check her email in bed, and within 10 minutes, she could feel her heart racing. She thought she needed to go to psychiatry to get an anxiety diagnosis. She didn't. She just had a bad phone habit. When we removed her phone the first hour of the day, her anxiety dropped significantly within 2 weeks. Because what you do in that first hour sets the tone for your entire nervous system. If you start your day in a reactive state, your body is going to stay in that state. If you start your day grounded, calm, and intentional, your body is going to follow that as well. And this ties directly to your hormones. Because when you spike your cortisol early and aggressively like that first thing in the morning, you start creating a pattern of chronic stress signaling. And this impacts a lot of things in your body. So blood sugar, thyroid, sex hormones, your ability to feel calm and regulated. So the first rule is simple. Do not touch your phone for the first hour of your day. Let your brain wake up without getting absolutely hijacked. Get sunlight, move your body, eat breakfast, talk to your partner, but don't immediately plug into the outside world. I personally use this time to prep my breakfast, prep drinks and coffee for my husband and I also say my morning prayers and read the Bible before I ever touch my phone. And let me tell you, this has been the biggest game changer for my mental health. Now, let's talk about the last hour of your day. This one is just as important, if not more, because your body is designed to wind down at night. Your brain should be shifting into a parasympathetic state, so rest, digest, repair. Melatonin should be rising. Cortisol should be falling. But what are most people doing? The opposite. They are scrolling. They are watching videos. They are answering messages. They're getting hit with blue light, stimulation, and dopamine spikes right before bedtime. And this completely disrupts your sleep cycle. Blue light from your phone suppresses melatonin. So even if you feel tired, your brain is not actually entering deep sleep mode, which typically you should have in the first few hours of your night. And this matters a lot more than people realize, because poor sleep doesn't just make you feel tired. It affects your metabolism, your hunger hormones, your cortisol, your ability to recover, your mood, your skin, your gut, literally everything. I always tell my clients this: you can have the perfect diet, the perfect workout plan, the perfect supplements, but if your sleep is off, nothing is going to work the way that you would like it to. And I've seen this personally too. I told my husband not too long ago that I needed to set a hard boundary with work tasks being done and me putting my phone down at 7 p.m. What I do personally is I come into the kitchen and I plug in my phone at 7 p.m. I don't touch it at all for the rest of the night, and I don't touch it until the next morning, an hour after I wake up. One thing we were getting into a bad habit of is we would sit down to eat our last meal, we would watch TV, and we would have our phone nearby just in case something happened with our business. Inevitably, things did, and that put us both in a fight or flight response right before bedtime. And especially during this current phase of my life where I'm trying to conceive, I told my husband I need to have this hard boundary where I am not looking at my phone after 7 p.m. And it really has genuinely helped me. Your body needs a transition period. You can't go from full stimulation to deep sleep instantly. It doesn't work like that. You don't have insomnia, you just have an addiction to your phone. So, the second rule: no screens the last hour of your day. Dim the lights, read, hang out with your partner, and if you do want to watch something relaxing on the TV, then just wear blue light blocking glasses. But the key here is letting your nervous system come down naturally. Okay, moving on to the third one, and this one is probably the most underrated, is no phones during meals. This is the one that people resist the most, and honestly, it's the one I personally struggle with the most because the nighttime ones, the morning ones, if I plug my phone in and I leave it in the kitchen and I don't touch it, I don't touch it. It's there. That's one thing. But throughout the day, it is really hard for me to not be on my computer or not be on my phone during meals, as I tend to work a lot through lunch. It feels harmless. It honestly is really freaking boring to just sit there and do nothing while you eat. You're just scrolling while you eat, you're answering a text message, you're watching something. But this genuinely does have a huge impact on your digestion and your hormones because digestion, it is a parasympathetic process. If you've watched any of my videos on gut health, you have heard me talk about this. You need to be in a calm, relaxed state for your body to properly break down food, release stomach acid, and absorb nutrients. And then if you're on your phone, especially if you're scrolling or working or looking at anything stimulating, you are in a mild stress state. Even if you don't feel stressed, your body is distracted, your brain is engaged. And your digestive system, it's not getting that proper signal that it needs. So what happens? You have poor digestion, you have more bloating, you have slower motility, you have less nutrient absorption. And this is why I see one of the most common reasons is, women that are eating healthy, but they're still dealing with gut issues. They're eating in a stressed, distracted state. They aren't fully chewing their food, and their gut is taking a hit from this. I had a client, she was eating all the right foods, super, super clean diet, but she had constant bloating. One of the biggest changes that we made was removing her phone during meals and have her actually relaxing and taking some deep breaths before she went to eat her food. That alone improved her digestion significantly because now her body could actually focus on breaking down her food. But there is actually another layer to this, and this is where it goes beyond digestion. If you are eating with other people, remove your phone completely from the area where you guys are eating. This is a time for connection with others, and you are completely ruining it by having your phone sitting there, even if you're not looking at it. When you're making eye contact with others and you're connecting over food, that increases your oxytocin level, which is your bonding hormone. It is your safety hormone. It is the I feel good, I feel connected hormone. And oxytocin directly counteracts cortisol. So when you're present during meals, especially with people you care about, you're not just improving your digestion, you're actively shifting your hormonal environment into a regulated, more calm state. Now, compare that to sitting on your phone while you're eating. You're distracted, you are disconnected, you're not fully present, and you lose that benefit entirely. This is why I always say to my clients, your environment while eating matters just as much as what you're eating. Even if you're not actively using your phone, having it nearby during meals keeps your brain in that state of anticipation. So you're waiting for a notification, you're waiting for a message or a distraction. It prevents you from being fully present and shifting into that parasympathetic state that you need for proper digestion. It's like your body is trying to relax, but there's always this low level signal of just being on edge running in the background. So put your phone completely different room, especially if you're eating meals with other people. So the third rule is no phones during meals. Be present. Let your body digest. Let yourself actually experience food and your environment. And I'm just going to be completely honest with you for a second. I am not perfect with this at all, especially the no phones during meals. I definitely am guilty of working throughout the day through my lunch. But every time I come back to these three rules, I notice a huge difference. So better focus, better energy, better digestion. I feel more calm because these are the foundational habits. They don't feel extreme, but they completely change how your body functions on a daily basis. So if you feel like your nervous system is fried, if you feel constantly stressed or overwhelmed, if your digestion is off, if your sleep is not where it should be, start here. You don't have to start with spending a ton of money on supplements. You don't have to start with an extreme protocol. Fix the foundations first. Protect your mornings, protect your evenings, and be present during meals. If you implement just these three things consistently, you're going to feel a difference. And if you want help taking this further, looking at your gut, your hormones, your metabolism, and building a plan specifically around that is exactly what we do inside of our coaching programs. You can apply for a free consult with our team down below in the description. And if you thought that was helpful, save it and share it with a friend. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you in the next one.